All right, good win last night, or yesterday, I guess. It was it was fun to see our guys play well and have fun doing it and playing in a big game like we did. I thought, we challenged them to really answer the bell and really told them, hey, you come to Auburn and play in games like this and enjoy it while you're out there, but let's play well and play fast. And, I thought our guys did that against a good football team, and we were able to run the ball effectively, which I thought was a key to our success. And then obviously we hit some throws down the field as well, and I thought our guys took care of the ball. We did have a couple penalties you'd rather not have, but other than that, overall, I was pleased with them, and still a lot of areas we need to clean up, to reach our goals. But it was a good start for a game, of this magnitude, and obviously we're happy to win, and looking forward to getting ready for this next one. Any questions?
In that 2 games this year, you guys have been almost 50-50 when it comes to running yards and passing yards. What's been the key to that, having that much success in the last few games?
Well, I think, our goal is to be balanced. That's kind of what we've said all along, is to try to be balanced. And I think when we are, then we're better, on offense. If we're throwing it too much or running it too much, and it's got to stay in line, so to speak, I think, for us to be really successful. And we've been able to do that, and I think running the ball is the key. And we were able to establish the run the other night, which helped us throw some balls down the field. And that's our goal, is to be as balanced as we can.
Chip, can you talk about just carry on progress over the course of the season from a good back to the great?
Yeah, he's been, since I've been here, he's really shown me, even back in spring ball when I first got here, he's really smart, he's really intelligent, he understands protections, he understands routes, he kind of he understands run schemes, he knows his own scheme and where the ball should hit versus different fronts, possibly. Obviously you have to read it, but in gap schemes the same way, and I think he's a complete back, and we're glad he's on our team. He's definitely a leader. I mean, he's a warrior, and I think he makes everyone associate with Auburn proud just about who he is and what kind of player he is as well.
Have you seen anybody with that kind of patience? Because, he's a guy that just kind of waits and waits and waits for the right moment.
He tempos his runs really well. I think he does a great job, and I think that goes back to being a smart guy, studies film. He understands what the fronts look like and, how we're trying to block those fronts, and I think he is patient. I think it's something that he's probably done as he's matured as a player, but it's working well for him and us, and I'm glad he's doing it that way.
Just the big plays on offense, especially the last 3 weeks. How is that? Do you see that being a contagious thing where guys start to kind of get a feel for it and it starts to become kind of an everyday thing?
It's our goal to create explosive plays. That's kind of what we're trying to do, whether it's running it, throwing it, or whatever, screens, whatever. And we've hit a few lately, which has been, that's been really good for us. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about creating explosive plays, and each week trying to find the best ways to do it. Some weeks are easier than others, obviously, but we've done a pretty good job the last, I think, 5 or 6 weeks really trying to execute that, and our guys are making plays down the field, which, if you remember, that's kind of what we said all along. We're challenging our receivers and our playmakers to make plays down the field, and they've done a decent job of that so far.
Can you take us a little bit through the improvement of Jared Stidham's field awareness, whether it's he sees a blitz coming, he throws at it for a screen pass, and Brian Davis takes in for a touchdown. How much better has he gotten over that? Where have you noticed him?
He's progressed really well, I think, for a guy that early on, hadn't played a whole lot. So I think just as time's going on, you see a quarterback mature and play more. He gets more and more comfortable with seeing the different looks and getting us in the right plays and stuff. And he does a nice job of that. He's a smart guy. Again, he's a guy that studies a lot of film, and he's done a really nice job of executing the things we've asked him to do. And, hopefully he'll continue to do that.
Any specific plays the last 2 weeks where that was Jared, helping out maybe a bad situation that got you in a good situation?
There's a lot of them. I mean, I don't know of a specific one. I mean, we have alerts and different things the way he does that, but he does it a lot in the run game too that probably you don't know about, but you don't realize it because he's just doing it the other way, sending it the other way or something like that. But I think overall he's just gaining a better understanding of the game and our game plan and doing a nice job executing.
You obviously, I'm sure every defense you got to play endeavors to make it one dimension.
Right.
Have you seen different things that people have done, a lot of different things people have tried to do that?
Yeah, I think each week brings a new challenge. You know, like Georgia did some things that they hadn't shown before. You know, I think you're always going to run across that. I think, you know, defenses, I believe, really try to take away your best plays. I think that's pretty, and so you try to find ways to get your best players the balls in space. I think that's the most important thing, but nothing specific. But, you know, each week's a little different, presents different challenges, and then obviously the personnel also adds to that. But I think our guys have done a nice job of executing whatever game plan we've had in the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Go back to KJ for a minute, Chip. Throughout his career, obviously, he dealt with durability issues, but Tim had even been very upfront for several years about going back to his high school days, that he believed he was probably more effective when he carried it less, just because he carried so little in high school, but yet run for 150 and 200 yards and stuff. To see him have an average of 25, nearly 30 carries a game for these 6 games, was there a point that, when did you know he could be this durable? And that was a question facing him for years. When did you know it was durable?
You know, since I've been here, he's been durable, so I hadn't really had, it's not been fresh on my mind. He's done a nice job, and I mean, he trained hard in the off season. His body was ready to go, and I think he tweaked his ankle early in the year or something, so he's missed a game or two, but that's part of playing, and I think he's proven that he's pretty durable.
And you never assume as a coach you're going to have full health on your offensive line by the nature of the game.
Yep.
But you've had to play so many different combinations, it just doesn't seem like there's been that much confusion and transition, at least the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's been some transition times, you know, to be honest with you. But, you know, when you feel like you've got, I think we have 7 or 8 guys that can play. Herb's done a nice job of mixing and matching those combinations. In preseason camp, we did a lot of that. I remember getting the question all the time if we settled on our 5, but we really want to settle on our 7 or 8. So in case, because you know how this league is, people get, this time of year, everybody's bumped and bruised and sore and got some kind of injury. So I think it's important that our guys are flexible. And obviously, Austin's been a guy that's played a lot of positions. He allows us to have a lot of flexibility, but I think it's been important for our success so far that we've had guys that have been able to step up, and when we've lost a guy for a week or two, and I think that's going to help us, you know, create a lot of depth as the season plays out.
How has Markel looked so far? He's had to fill in a couple.
Marquell? Oh, he's done well. Yeah, I've been really pleased with him, and I thought he played pretty well again the other night. You know, he's a guy that I think has a bright future. He's kind of a young player that I think's taking that next step.
How about Prince?
Prince Tega? Yeah, I thought he played well. He came in and maybe played one of his better games, to be honest with you. I think, again, he's getting more and more comfortable, you know, playing in you know, when you play in the SEC, you're facing some really good players, and I think the more he plays, the better he'll get, and I think he's become more and more comfortable.
Yeah, that screen pass, those guys out there in front, especially, I mean, Tega's 60 yards downfield. When you turn on film, how important is that when their teammates see those guys making plays like that?
Yeah, I think it's really important, and we show that in front of our whole offense. You know, we have a cut up ready each week to talk about the good and the bad, you know, and that was one of our good ones. And I think it's, you know, those guys are really busting their tail to get out in front of carry on there, and I think that's really nice. And, you know, some things you don't see are the way we block the backside of it. Sometimes that goes unnoticed, that those guys are supposed to pin certain guys so they can't get involved, and they did their job. And, you know, when everybody does their job and executes, you know, plays have a chance to be successful, and I think that was an example of one of those.
You've had a couple of 1,000-yard rushers, a 4,000-yard passer, a 1,000-yard receiver. Considering the level of competition that Carry On had that success against last night, have you ever seen as dominant a performance against, given the level of competition? I mean, it's extraordinarily rare to have that many rushing yards against tough teams.
Yeah, you know, I haven't really, but at the same time, as the game's playing out, I didn't realize it really. You know, you're just kind of trying to stay in the flow of the game. But once you look back, I think it was a really good night for him, and I think it's a tribute to the way our O-line played, and everybody the receivers did a nice job blocking, and you know, I think it's just hopefully we'll continue to run the ball well, and obviously we had some things go our way the other night, which is good, and you know, it's only going to get tougher as we finish here, and we got to make sure that we continue to do the same things we've been doing to play well.
2 weeks in a row now, you've had to take Darius James out because of injuries. How much is that going to change maybe your guys' plan on the offensive line?
You know, Darius had a really good week of practice. He was not obviously 100%, and sometimes when you get in the flow of the game and the live bullets are flying again, you know, he doesn't have the same reaction time or the same things. But, you know, again, we'll try to get him all ready again this week, and then kind of toward the end of the week try to make a decision.
What's impressed you most about Marquell Harrell's, just his progression? Because
it seems like there hasn't been much drop-off between him and Mike Portman when he's had to fill in.
I think his footwork has improved tremendously. I know Herb mentioned that the other day in our staff meeting, that he's improved his technique and fundamentals playing, and I think part of that is he's played himself into some confidence, you know, where he's had a little success, so now he's a little more confident. Maybe that's helped him be more aggressive, and you know, I think his footwork, like I said, has improved tremendously.
How important is it for the future to have guys like Carell and
Yeah.
getting all this experience, getting started?
Definitely, we talked about that today. You know, building those guys, you know, some experience. I think that's going to help us only down the road as we move forward.
What's Casey brought to this offense? Was there a transition coming from UCS a little bit here? I know he's a senior, but kind of a newcomer still.
You know, I think he's just brought some toughness. I mean, he's a tough guy. He's you know, he was a really good player at Jacksonville State, but he's come in here and held his own. Now, you know, Jacksonville, they played against, I think, LSU and us, and so he's proven himself against top competition. So we felt really good about him, and I think once he got going and got in the rhythm, I think he's really done a nice job.
Considering the level that Georgia's defensive line plays and has all season, and the way you guys really midway through the third quarter on were just pushing, and
Right.
carry on was just squirting out for 4 or 5 yards
Right.
for what maybe would be a 3 or 2 yard gain. Is that the most dominant performance you've seen from the offensive line, most complete performance this season?
You know, this year, I think against good competition, it definitely was. It was good to see that we got good push up front and, you know, created some seams for our running backs. And that's what our goal is to get to our double teams and do that. And, you know, those guys did a nice job.
Based off your experience, when you have a performance like that and the guys can see it on the film, they feel it on the field,
Yeah.
how's that help you going forward?
Well, I think it creates a lot of confidence, you know, for those guys, no matter who we're playing, that, you know, hopefully those guys can, you know, they have some confidence now that they've done it against, you know, a pretty good opponent. So I think that'll only help us.
How important is Jared pulling the ball on the zone read running and 2 or 3 times a game making big plays? How important has that been for like just the direction of the offense?
I think that goes back to being balanced. You know, it creates a little more balance even in our run game. Hey, he could pull it, or he might or might not. Some are, you know, RPOs, or some are he's throwing, and I think he's done a nice job of making good decisions here in the second half of the season on when to do it and when not to.
From your perspective in your chair, what had to change from the LSU game to where you are?
What had to change?
What has changed? I mean, from the state, from players or scheme or?
We really hadn't changed anything. It's just we've made some plays that we probably didn't make in that second half, and hadn't changed a whole lot, to be honest.
Wide receiver position, have you seen significant improvement, a little improvement?
Yeah.
How would you characterize that from the?
Yeah, I think those guys have made a lot of plays down the field. I mean, and that's what we challenged them in the fall camp to do. Is the guys, we need you to make plays down the field, contested catches, and they've done a nice job of that.
When everyone knows what's at stake here in a couple of weeks, I know there's a task at hand, but everyone sees what's ahead in 2 weeks from now. How much do you even personally begin to prepare when you know Jeremy as well as that you each do and what his defense is going to be?
Yeah, we're focused on Louisiana Monroe. I mean, that's it. It's what you have to do, you know.
You talked about a couple of juniors, Ryan Davis and Chandler Cox. They seem like they're really stepping up.
Yeah, they are. You know, Chandler does all our dirty work for us. Really tough, physical guy, one of our leaders, and I think he's improved tremendously. Just technique, fundamentals. Larry's done a really nice job with him on you know, pad level and things of that nature. He's already a good player, and I think he's improved. And then Ryan Davis, I think, has proven that he's one of our playmakers. And you know, the thing about him is he catches the ball with his feet on the ground and continues to be moving. He's not, you know, he's really smooth, and he's a competitor, and he's desperate to get open. I think that's important to play receiver. All right, thanks.